Hey everybody, Mr. Solomon here. Welcome to another episode of Dragon Saga's Newbie Guide. In the last part, we went through Vancliff Manor and fought our way up to the Gatekeeper and down here to B8 and killed some executioners. In this part, we have a quest to fight a boss named Frankie next, which is on B9. So let's continue down this mansion. We're going to try and finish everything up because after we've beaten these next two floors, we have about 6 floors to go before the finale. So it's not going to take me that long to do all those, and it's supposed to, like, you know, going F1 to F4, then F7, 8, 9, and 10, and then B4 to B8 to B10 or whatever it was. It's not going to be as long as all that, although the enemies are going to be a little harder to kill from here on out. Anyways, the Executioner quest, a bit of an interesting bit, I noted this in the last part, is the fact that if you do this with more than one person in the party, you'll actually get like 19 of them in like B5. So technically speaking, and I believe if you do this with a party of 4, you can get all 20 of them in B8 at once. So you can technically skip to B7 if you're doing this with 4 people. I had to leave because of... Now, to note why I had to leave in the last part, which I actually left the dungeon, which is pretty stupid to do. I could have just AFK'd. I had a bit of a family emergency, so I had to tend to that immediately and then focus on this. I put life before game, you know that saying? Yeah, a lot of people sometimes don't follow it. Anyways, so we're going to be dealing with going further down this dungeon, and right now it's just more of this. Like I said, this dungeon is kind of unique compared to other dungeons, but it's a bit long-winded. But keep in mind, if you want to farm like Bone Dragon for various things, just to warn you, Vancliff, Gatekeeper, and them, in hero mode, they all drop specific parts of the Hero Vancliff set, which is what I'm wearing. You'll have to farm them for specific pieces, but Bone Dragon and the Fight 2 Bone Dragon will drop its own pieces. My best recommendation is to get a B20 scroll and go at it on like rare mode to try and get rare Renoff belt, which is pretty expensive, as well as the rare Vancliff ring at B10 is also expensive, because their set bonus is movement speed instead of critical rate. See right here? Yeah, the other one is 3-piece set bonus is final crit rate. I would technically say you can mix and match them, like go hero earrings, ring, and necklace, and then rare belt and all that, but that's not recommended. Anyways, this boss, Frankie, aka Stop Jumping Off the Cliff, You're Ruining My Ophiokus runs, is, well, a clone of Dr. Farrell. Yep. He's actually a bit harder than Dr. Farrell, too, because he's bigger and higher level, so he hits much harder. And he has Fury mode. That's another thing going for him. So just be careful. But this guy is not programmed like Dr. Farrell. Dr. Farrell is programmed with this super large boss room in mind. This guy isn't. So sometimes when he throws his ball, it takes him like an eternity to get it back. But just like Dr. Farrell, just like move just before he attacks you, you know, and it shouldn't be too difficult. He's gonna hit me with that. I'm in dash block. That's okay though. When you get like over 300 movement speed or like 280 movement speed, like I did, you don't really need to dash jump anymore, except for like some platforming. Anyways, that is what scroll is that? Is that B6? That is B6. B6 is the, I believe B6 or B7 is the lowest before B10, so that was what I was looking for. I managed to find one and buy it. Okay, so next quest. We have to defeat Count Von Cliff himself. Yep, we've traversed through the mansion, both up and down, and we need to defeat the vampire Count Von Cliff. Anyways, there are Vancliff executioners in B10, but because the quest requires you to beat B9 immediately afterwards, why bother with that? But they're just there. But it's just basically the last line of defense before the Dark Count himself. Okay. We're getting there. It's a big room. It's a big dungeon. Okay, 23 to go. And there's the next 6 of them. I'm grateful I'm not doing this with a party. Like, I was thinking about just, like, asking people to join, say, like, who wants to be in the newbie guide or whatever. But then I was like, wait, the number of monsters scales with people, and I don't want people leeching me. Also, I don't want level 85s to join in one-shot Bone Dragon. It's not like when I have to repeat a dungeon for no reason, like with Matissa or Citrus, where that was okay. Anyways, Count Von Cliff is an interesting boss fight. Well, he used to be. He used to have this coffin mechanic where you couldn't damage him until you broke all the coffins, or the coffins would constantly heal him. Anyways, the first thing Van Cliff likes to do is turn out the lights. He's a vampire, after all. So he'll have an attack he hits you with, which will turn the entire room dark. He also can summon this black hole, which can keep you stuck in place. But he doesn't really have any attacks that capitalize on it. But anyways, that darkness that he shoots, if it hits you, it can actually turn the screen black for a short time. He can summon clones of himself, which he's going to do now. He's a pretty interesting boss. I like him. He's an old school boss, too. He was there back in the Chapter 1 days. Whoa, my screen just froze for a second. Yeah, he just turned out the lights on me. One of his deadliest attacks that he summons a swarm of bats at you. But he's not a problem now. We've beaten him easily. And the lights are out in the city. And there's a B7 scroll. Pretty nice. Did I get anything in particular? I got the Guardian weapons. Not bad. That's level 62 weapon. We can unsoulcraft that, see if it rolls high critical damage. It rolled min physical attack. That's not something I would use. Anyways, got a B7 scroll. We can save that. And, you know, we're not going to sell them, but we're going to just give them away. Or, like, you know, if someone needs them for promotion, it's always nice to have them on hand. Use them to make things easier. Or if I ever want to farm hero or rare mode for something here, which is less likely. Anyways, back in Count Von Cliff's manor. We've beaten enemy Von Cliff, but there's an unexpected surprise. Ranulph was also controlled by the Dark Soul. Black Witch calls dead people to spirits by using this one, and okay. So, Ranulph is the younger brother of Count Von Cliff, and supposedly he's a werewolf. Where is he, you might ask? This third entrance is to the underground prison B11. He's in B20. Yeah, that's the hard part of Van Cliff. That's where the monsters are the highest level, and it gets even worse going down. So, I would highly recommend you prepare yourself, because we're going to the Dark Prison, B20. B20 is one of the lowest Van Cliff scrolls. It's actually a specific scroll for Ranulph himself, farming himself. So, typically it's very expensive, so you got to be careful with this one if you buy it from other players. This is especially true for rare Van Cliff scrolls because the rare Lanov belt is very expensive, so because of a movement speed set that uses it. Though, I think I could get more money farming Red Fox Delta for best Hydron Pants parts. I think Bone Dragon, this itself is not bad for money making, especially because you can sell materials. When you get the expert mode at 65, you can farm the materials there and sell them to other players. And because those make the element bone weapons, and those are kind of in demand also. I could have made one myself, but I don't want to because I think, like, if you're going to go with the element bone weapon, it's going to exclusively be for PvP. Like, for mid-level PvP, like 60 plus. Like 60 to 64, where it's at its best in slot. Anyways, this isn't... The monsters here are now level 64, which is pretty intimidating because we were dealing with like level 62s in that frost map. So, yeah, things are going to start getting tougher. This is actually the point of Van Cliff where it leans closer to its highest recommended level, which is 65. So, yeah. And they want you to do this right at 60, so it's a little hard. Anyways, Lanov, the werewolf, Ranulph, Lanov, whatever pronunciation, has a gun. Anyways, the core mechanic of Lanov the Werewolf is that he takes very little damage from you until you break his crystals. He can make it rain arrows. He can shoot like a razor blade attack. You know, like a little Beyblade thing. He can shoot you with his gun, etc. And this is one crossbow I really wish they add to the game as an IM crossbow. Look how it looks. It looks pretty sick. Anyways, once you break all 4 crystals, Lanov will take normal damage from you. Yeah, the bulk of this boss fight is just beating down his crystals and then beating him. So let's just fight him. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with like any more big difficulty after this, because once we beat Lanov, it's just straight to the bottom. You have 2 choices when you go straight to the bottom, 3 if you spend IM on this game. The first choice is to just continue from Lanov down to B25. The second choice is to leave B20 and use a B22 scroll to skip a floor. This is okay. It's not really recommended. The boss of B21 isn't that bad. It's just, you know, it saves a lot of time. And I can't groggy these bosses because I'm not dedicating time to X-spamming them. Anyways, there's Ranov. Killed. We already beat the crystals, so they won't break by themselves. You really only have to break like 2 or 3 of them. And, oh, hey, look! We got a Bone Dragon part. Bone Dragon drops set bonuses. His own hero set. The neat thing about this set is that it also has a shield, so you can mix and match pieces. We're going to keep this because of obvious reasons. It's selling money. Bone Dragon stuff is surprisingly worth pretty well for hero mode sets, because they're useful for pre-level 70 before the next set in the game that everyone recommends, which is the Zaharant set. Anyways, we have to beat the Bone Dragon Lust. Its real name, I don't know, because it's either Lust, Lost, Shinua, Shinuag, Shiva, whatever. It's just a skeleton dragon, which is pretty awesome. Anyways, the Pitch Dark Prison is the hardest section of Van Cliff Manor. The monsters here are level 65 to 67, so it's very difficult to kill them. This is also where you're going to start getting a lot more experience per kill for monster. So it's not really good, a recommended leveling spot because of F7 and expert mode. But back when leveling was F6, this was a really good substitute to get to 70. Anyways, it's also filled with tons of hazards, typically, and it's dark. Like, as the name implies, it's pitch dark. So it's going to be harder to see monsters coming. Most of them have like this neat little like glow in their eyes or something that helps to see them. But no. In fact, I want to kind of challenge myself to go through this pitch dark prison as an actual pitch dark prison and turn my monitor's brightness down all the way. Wouldn't that be awesome? Just make it an actual pitch dark prison. And the rest of this video is just going to be descending this prison to Bone Dragon's lair. Just a fair bit of warning. Like I said, they're much higher level, and the mid-bosses are actually a lot more brutal at this point in the game, at this point of the mansion. Because they're much stronger enemies that have much stronger attacks that really can interrupt your skills and all that. B25 in particular, he's not that difficult, but there's a mechanic he has that it's kind of best if you deal with now. There's a mechanic he has that can make it pretty difficult to kill him or very time-consuming. Okay. First boss of B21 to 25 is Heartbreaker. He's based on a Van Cliff Executioner. He can shoot electricity, but the animation for it is missing, so it'll look like he's standing completely still for like 3 seconds, and then your character will just randomly get flinched. He's doing it now. Oh no, he's just stabbing me. Oh, he's not doing it. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, you can see there he was just like standing still, turning towards me, because he has an attack where he shoots a ball of lightning at you, but because the animations for it are missing, the ball doesn't spawn, nor does he do the animation where that shows him shooting the ball out of his sword. Or whatever that is. Spear, axe thing. Anyways, as you can see, the boss's HPs are actually starting to go up. We're starting to hit 1 million plus, which we didn't have except for Van Cliff and Gatekeeper. Please drop a B20. Well, B19. No, that's not good. I wanted him to drop a B21 or thankfully a B22 scroll. Every boss from B22 onwards, and this is the lowest scroll that you can get, that is an IM version. Every boss that can drop a Van Cliff scroll at this point will drop either B20, B21, or B22. So if you're looking to farm like these scrolls to either use for farming or to sell to other players, it's a good idea. I think B22 has this one boss that's like the last troublesome boss before Bone Dragon. So, ooh, nice missile. So I think it's good that I'm getting him out of the way. That's how good freezes are. You can just while they're frozen, unable to move, dying slowly. As you can see here, my attacks are actually taking a lot of effort to dent through their HP bars. It takes a full missile barrage to kill one of them. And they have higher enchants too. They're all level +6, +7, and Bone Dragon himself is +8. So that I know of. So it's on hero mode. So yeah, doing this on hero mode is going to be kind of challenging. Oh, yeah. Someone on Megaphone was saying, I'm going to give away 700,000 gold and tons of IM items on May 25th, just before we get closed down. The European gets closed down. What he doesn't know is that on the 24th, technically, it happens. The 25th is just the day that the final, account locking will start to happen. So... Anyways, this B22 boss, Shamari, he does this annoying vine shoot thing, which is really annoying, and it does hit quite a bit of damage. See, that's the easy one to dodge, because it's, all over the place. But he's got, this jumps forward one that's, really hard to dodge. And, knocks you down and does a lot of damage. Especially when you're, low defense like me. 3,000 defense is nothing. At this point in the game, I should have having 5,000 or something like that. Anyways, there's no way I could kill this boss before he goes Fury mode, because his Fury mode ends, because he's going to keep knocking me down. But now that he's outside of Fury mode, which is better for a Sorc, because you can interrupt all his animations and kill him with ease. Yeah, we don't groggy people very well, so... there's that going for us, which is not nice. It actually takes us forever for certain bosses that require groggying. And dodge this wall of electrical hazards that appears after the boss. Pretty dark difficulty the game originally had. This was back when the game was tough, you know that? Where you needed a +8 weapon to farm this boss in general. Anyways, Pitch Dark Prison over here. Floor 23. We're getting close to the end here. Like I said, there's going to be a lot of enemies that just repeatedly knock you down. In fact, these are the guys that dude was based on. Anyways, those Dark Priests that you see, there's two versions of them. The ones with the vines, which do the knockdowns, but this one right here, the Dark Priest, they actually can channel a magic that heals enemies around them. So you can kind of want to interrupt that sometimes. It's not a lot of HP, it's a few thousand, but it's still just a mild inconvenience. it's not, like, terrifying. Also, they're more gargoyles for some reason. But I think these are just demons at this point. Look at this combo I'm racking up. Yeah, it's very easy to rack up like a 500 to 1,000 hit combo in Van Cliff if you're just by yourself with a horde of monsters. In fact, I'm not saying go at this with a level 1 weapon and 0 element damage and see how high of a combo it would take you by the time you kill everything in this floor if you do it consistently. Like, this is with a level 55 weapon, and you can see, like, I'm already up to almost 200 here. Pretty interesting. I'm not saying this is a good method for 10,000 combo because it's very, like, you know, risky. The monsters here do a lot of attacks that interrupt you, so it'd only be good for certain classes. Anyways, next boss, Butcher. He's a Van Cliff Executioner as well, but he's a Butcher. Anyways, he can do Lord of Night's little lightning rain attack, which is pretty stupidly, like, you know, it'll interrupt you pretty easily. But he's not really that bad. He just runs. The problem is that the Fury mode they have is the one that buffs everything, speed, attack, and defense. So he can just look how fast he just runs towards you. So the whole distance fighting that you're used to doesn't really work on these guys. Anyways. Just to get him close to death as we can before Fury mode wears off. Now he's back to running at normal speed. Yeah. Anyways. I just realized I gained like 30% experience over the course of this whole promotion so far. That's not bad. I kind of hope they do that with future quests. Like, make it to where, like, 60's promotion actually gets you close to 61 so you can keep doing more. By the way, Forgotten Village F7 is still usable at 60. Like I said, 65 is its max level. So don't feel obligated to go try and unlock Haven of Peace because it's not available yet. Also, for those of you wondering, yes, my guide will cover Arcadia's 1, 2, and eventually 3 when it gets released and this character's high enough level. Because 3 is meant for more 75 plus content. In fact, its end is 85, I believe. So, according to like what we've seen with the leaked set bonuses and all that, that sounds exactly like a level 85 set. Anyways. B24 is gonna start having more hazards than ever. And there's these like grabby hands. Look at the grabby hands. They just want to bite. Anyways, let's just finish off these bone sharpies. Like I said, this used to be really good experience before F7 was a thing, back when it was only F6. Because it was like either F6 Arca, it was either like F6 of Arca, because that was the closest mission map to Dracos, or you just did Van Cliff from 60 to like 65, and then Dracos from 65 to 70. That's how it used to be back then. Anyone remember that? Yeah, that was, or if you had the team go Chaos mode. Anyways, be careful with this part right here. This bend, I noticed, has a lot of more monsters than the average, like, you know, group. Now, these have a lot of health. Like, it could just be because this is hero mode, and hero mode also scales their health a bit. Anyways, oh, my buffs actually wore off. I'm making tremendous time. Like, I expected this to be like 30 minutes to get to Bone Dragon itself, and I'm at 24 right now, which is pretty good. Anyways, Sharpion is B24, and I'm gonna tell you guys a story. Before I even knew there was an enemy in this game named Sharpion, there was a player back in THQ Ice named Sharpion. I didn't know if he was game staff or anything like that, but his name was the same as this boss. And he was a Sentinel main. That's all I can remember. And, like, he stopped playing around the time the cap was, like, 75. But to this day, that name just haunts me. Because, like, I remember there was a Sentinel in THQ Ice named Sharpion. Like, I don't know, anyone former, like, Ascension or anyone, if y'all still watch my videos, who am I kidding? If you guys remember this guy, like, just please let me know. I don't know if it was this server or another server, but his name was Sharpion. He was pretty cool. He was pretty chill. He just liked to PvP. That was all it was. No. Anyway, Sharpion's a pretty difficult boss. Remember Bone Frag from the graveyard? Well, yeah, this is his big, angry brother. So, that's why. He's going to do that dark shot. He's going to bite you repeatedly. He's going to, you know, summon grabby hands or whatever that status is called. Anyways, that's Sharpion, which is B24, which means we have one floor to go before the big dragon himself. Let's go. Anyways, B25 is just as bad as all the other floors, except it's got a bit of a nasty thing they do in the middle. See that little bend there that kind of looks like, you know, a Chex Mix cracker? Yeah, that's a mini labyrinth full of, like, saw blades. And you gotta run through that to get to the other half of the dungeon, where the rest of the monsters are, and where the boss room is. This was, like, the only remnant of the original field map, hazard-filled Van Cliff style that they had, where you had to do this. Everything else, like, just got recycled. It was a really questionable decision, too. Like, on the one hand, it made promoting easier, or doing Bone Dragon runs easier, because it was just this instance that you just ran through every time, instead of a field map where people could take your stuff. But on the other hand, some people liked the old style because, you know, there was more to explore and there was, like, spots you could farm in. But the problem was that the key, like, and I'll tell you this trivia right now, when I learned this, I was like, that's bullshit. The old system had to farm 4 key fragments to enter a boss room, depending on the boss. The monster that dropped the key fragment was very specific. It was a specific monster that was perched somewhere in this mansion, and he had a set % chance to drop it, which is why, you know, people would crash your party trying to farm this thing. Well, you think that's bad enough. But in THQ Ice Deckard server, which was the second North American, like, THQ Ice server that they had, they opened it to kind of, like, alleviate some server issues, so a lot of players quit Feavern and went to Deckard for some reason. Well, it turns out, in Deckard server, there was a game-breaking bug where this monster would not spawn. So very few people were able to actually run Bone Dragon. It would only spawn, like, after a server reset or something like that, where, like, they'd have to restart everything. So, and it was never fixed before THQ Ice closed and Warp Portal took over. So, it's like, that's the reason why I think it's kind of better with this system, because, you know, field maps have their own problems when multiple people try to farm them at once, especially because these people are going to be in 4-man parties. And have you ever tried to crash, like, a certain class in PVM in a field map when farming, like, dailies? Sometimes it's not easy. Sometimes it's easy, like, when, like, ninjas, like, oh, you're gonna try and crash my spot? Well, I'm just gonna spam Wyvern Blade. You know, Overlords, they're really hard to do it with, and all that. That's some more interesting trivia for you. This is why I kind of like Van Cliff. It's, like, one of the games where you can definitively see, like, point by point how Dragon Saga changed over the years. Like, first it did this field map, then it's instance, then those instances have rare and hero mode, and now expert mode. And they abandoned recipes in favor of hero sets, which are much better in my opinion, because it's basically the same concept. You're going to be farming a dungeon. Anyways, Van Cliff, he's going to spawn with a buddy called Bazette. He's a boss from, like, B16 or something like that. He's a photocopy of Mutissa, so it's actually a good idea to kill him immediately. This new Van Cliff has a new mechanic. As those coffins stand, he's going to slowly regenerate health every time they shoot, like, a dark bolt into him. It's not hard to outdamage this dark bolt. It is hard, however, to deal with it because it is recommended to kill them, because every time you kill one of those bolts, Van Cliff will lose a fraction of his health. It's a very small fraction. In fact, if you break all 5 of them, he's only going to lose like 40% of his health or something like that. And they're not that hard to kill. They're very low health. But, this Van Cliff's a little more aggressive. He can teleport. He does the same attacks as regular Van Cliff, and he has that health regeneration to make it bothersome. And this is the reason why you want to keep them alive. This shield will block 100% of the damage that Van Cliff is supposed to take. So, you just break these, and he instantly blows up. Because his percent health was that low. You know, we got ourselves some pretty nice gear here. Level 65 staff, some 65 gear. We'll throw these away. We don't need them anymore. We didn't even get a B22 scroll. We got a B20, which isn't bad, actually. Anyways, we're going to descend into Bone Dragon's Altar. I would highly recommend you buff and be prepared for a very difficult fight. Or easy, depending on how you do this. If you do my strategy, you'll never get hit. Let's go. Okay. It's now time for the final boss of the level 60 promotion. Bone Dragon Lost. Or Shiva. Or Sinawag. Or Lust. Or whatever. Anyways. Bone Dragon Lust is pretty hard compared to most bosses. He hits like a truck. That's the main gimmick about it. And his attacks have very large AoEs. One of his most common attacks, which is very unforgiving, is this one. It puts you in Dragon Fear, which makes you run around blindly. So it's very recommended you don't get hit by it. His bite will not hit you if you stand in between these two diamonds. So you can kind of just use this as like what's essentially a safe zone to jump between attacks and then just slowly whittle his health down. Take advantage of his long attack windups after he like finishes using them, because it leaves him open for a long time and you can just wail on him. He has over 4 million health, so don't be surprised if it takes you a while. This attack. Fuck this attack. He summons a series of wind tornadoes which will surge across the battlefield. They do a ton of damage and can rack up multiple hits on you incredibly quickly. I recommend that when he does this that you just go by his foot here and then just start wailing on him as he lands. And did I do it? This area is completely safe from tornadoes, but it's vulnerable to his bite attacks, so you got to be careful with that. And he's doing it again. This fight can be very easy or very hard depending on how you approach it. Like right there, I jumped a little too early. The tornadoes hit me. He's just barely out of range for my missiles. Also, he has a very high amount of physical defense. This is because he's enchant level 10. Oh wow, they increased it. It used to be like 8. Believe it or not, the old Bone Dragon was much harder because his defense was so high that you needed a +8 weapon to do normal damage on him. I have a +6 weapon, so you can see why this is taking me forever. Not only does he take greatly reduced damage from me, even with the element weakness, I'm hardly hitting him that much. Anyways, he's about just a little over a quarter of the way done. You can take advantage of these tornado attacks because he has a very long wind-up before his next attack doing this. So you can just kind of wail on him like that. He has a very big hitbox, by the way. Both his head and his feet are points that you can attack, to be specific. Okay, we're getting there. It's going pretty swimmingly. I remember when I showed the like solo tutorial on this with my old destroyer, I was using a +16 weapon. Oh shoot, I blinked the wrong way. I blinked so that like, you know, my body's in the corner. But because his hitbox is so massive, you can kind of just do this. And uh-oh, he's doing this attack. Anyways, this is Bone Dragon's strongest attack. He will fly over to the edges like this and cast dark meteors upon you. Do not touch the meteor, and I'm right on top of the meteor. The meteors will repeatedly afflict you with move freezing until they disappear. So be very careful with that. Please don't do the tornado. You're doing the tornado. Oh, crap. And I did it again. Thankfully, I had, like, Mirror Image to protect me here. Because, you know, Mirror Image in any sort of attack that... And he's doing it again. He'll do this a lot. And the only classes that can hit him in the background like that are Overlords and Ninjas. This is because both of these classes have attacks that can hit enemies regardless of their altitude. Which is Wyvern Blade and Sky Penetration. And he's doing it again. Get back here. I want to kill you. This isn't three-dimensional movement. I can't hit you down here. Well, technically... Nope, that don't work. Or that I was at a bad angle. Let me just go back here, because he's going to land. Just cast all your skills like this. Oh, he bit me. See, look at that. That bite actually does quite a bit compared to most other boss attacks. And there he goes again. He really likes doing that meteor attack. I think it's like right here his head pops. At least we're enjoying like the amazing backdrop of Van Cliff Mansion. Technically speaking, I could just sit right under him because I have mirror image and everything to kind of just prevent the damage that I would take, and slow heal out damages his attack rate. But he keeps flying off. And I have 1 million HP to go. Wait, what? Y'all see that? His hitbox was... Let's try and see if I can just blaze through the rest of this fight before he goes into his, like, desperation move. He has a desperation move when his health gets really low, where he'll, like, call and signal for help, and these minions will slowly drift towards the arena. And if they get to Bone Dragon, he'll consume them and heal a large percentage of his HP. Oh, here it comes now. This is probably why it's best that I have Frio. This is they're kind of easy to kill with like freezes and all that. Just like look at that. Just kill them all as fast as you can. Main problem is that they're all super armored. So you can't really like launch them or anything. That's why I said it's best to use freezes and slows, and don't you dare. Oh, one of them healed him. Oh, every time... Wait, what? They died nowhere near him. Oh, that's got to be a bug or something. Okay, yeah. It's kind of hard to kill him when he does this. So, it's like, the best thing to do is to just... Oh, wow. He's actually healing a lot of health. Yeah, every time one of them dies, he's healing off of it, regardless. That's a bug. That's a dangerous bug. Oh well. He won't summon any more monsters. He usually summons them at most a few times. Usually. Oh, thank God. Yeah, that attack normally afflicts you with Dragon Fear, but Mirror Image doesn't allow status afflictions to happen. So, we're going to just tank through this because I know I can. And I know I can get out of there if things go south, and I know all the safe zones. Just abuse Lust's ginormous ass hitbox and run away. Nope. This is Dragon Fear. You run around like a scared little girl for like 10 seconds. And if you're close enough to him, it actually hits you multiple times. He can actually chain it on you. And we beat Bone Dragon. That fight took a lot longer than expected because I think that the monsters will heal. It kept healing him despite the fact that I was successfully killing them. That was unique though. Oh, that's a good run. And perfect timing. This was as long as I expected it to take. We're going to pick this box. We're feeling lucky. Let's get... Come on, Bone Dragon's Volcanic Glass. Or Bone Dragon's something. Or Baby Bone Dragon. Let's see. Baby Bone Dragon? Nope. You got a guitar, though. Anyways. Oh. Well, hello there. I was just talking about the Deckard server. Holy crap. Anyways. This is Deckard. He's a guardian that aids the Dragon Lord. I am Deckard. Wyvern, the Dragon Lord, ordered me to fight Elga right now. You are the chosen one that I will allow my intelligence. Human, I will share information about the Kingdom of the Ice Temple. Yeah, that update got cancelled, buddy. Don't worry. It'll come back later. Probably. Ready? I will give you a power. Ordinary people are impossible to use it, but maybe you be able to get awakening. How do you think? I will awaken your hidden power. Do you want this? It's okay. However, I won't let you go to Paris. Well, I'm pretty sure you... However, if I don't let you go... I won't let you go for Paris without it, because I'm pretty sure you'll lose. Don't be afraid. It'll be quick. How do you feel? Can you recognize the new power? And with that, we are now a sorcerer. For our troubles, we will be given a guardian weapon, which is for level 61. I think they expected you to level to 61 doing this. Let's unseal it, see what we get. There's not bad options, but, you know, the Magichench Spear is better because it has higher enchants right now. It's about the same power as Magichench, so I think I won't keep it. But he does have another quest for you, which is the prerequisite for Dracos. However, you can't get to it yet. It actually has like a level 61, 62 requirement, which is a bit of a dick move. So, yeah, we're just going to leave this mansion. But anyways, with that, Newbie is now a sorcerer. And we have access to Awakening. I'm not going to actually use the Awakenings or Ultimates, but, you know, I want to get the prerequisite to get this magic attack increasing passive. So, yeah, there's that going for me. It's 25 SP each, though, which is kind of brutal. Like, I could just get level 5 with this right away and get, like, an extra few %. Oh, well. Next time on Dragon Saga's Newbie Guide, we will be leveling up a few more times, because we're going to be heading back into these Evil Spirit Mountain areas and unlocking Haven of Peace F7. See you guys then.